Hey guys, it's Leanne. Welcome to my YouTube channel if you are new here, and if you're not new then of course welcome back, and thank you so much for returning and hopefully subscribing by now and turn on that notification bell. So today's video is just a video talking through my favourite makeup brushes and beauty sponge. I've actually included a beauty sponge in this video. I'm going to be doing this full face of makeup as you can see here. So if you would actually like to know my top 9 brushes and top beauty sponge, and also see how to achieve this look, this dewy, glowy, highlighted, flawless foundation look, then please keep on watching. And also leave me some feedback in the comment section down below. What are your favourite brushes? Is there any brushes that you would recommend? After watching the tutorial, let me know if there's any brushes that you would recommend, because obviously brushes are just the tools of the trade, make life so much easier. So let me know if you've tried these brushes, or if you do go out and purchase them, let me know if these brushes work for you. But yeah, any brush recommendations, I am always on the lookout for new brushes, new tools to try, so please let me know. Before we jump in, I'm just going to remind everyone to please show your support by subscribing to my YouTube channel and also turning on the notification bell. I do try my best to upload weekly now, so please turn on the notification bell if you don't want to miss any uploads from myself. And also please like this video if you would like to see more content like this, as in me talking about favourite products, favourite foundations, favourite tools, beauty sponges, anything. Please like this video and let me know if this is something you want to see more of on this channel. Yeah, thank you for listening so far, and let's just jump right in. So the first brush that I'm going to be starting off with is the Peaches and Creams PC19 brush, and this is the brush that I use for foundation. So this is my go-to on clients and on myself. The foundation I'm going to be going in with is the NYX Born to Glow Naturally Radiant Foundation, and this is in the shade Natural. And then I'm just going to be putting some onto my little palette, and I put it onto the palette so as not to waste product, because if I apply it directly to the brush or directly to the back of my hand, I just find that so much product gets wasted. Yeah, I'm just going to be dotting this foundation over the face, and I've already primed the skin, by the way. If you want to know any more information about this foundation, oh, excuse my dog in the background. Yeah, as I was saying, if you want to know any more information about this foundation, then I do actually have a Foundation Friday video, which is all about this foundation and reviewing it and doing a wear test, so go and check that out for more details on this product. So yeah, I'm going to be going in with the Peaches and Creams PC19 brush, and I'm just going to be pressing this into the skin. And as the title suggests, this is a video of my favourite brushes, my absolute top 10, couldn't live without, the ones I use almost every single time that I do a makeup application. This brush is big enough to cover a large area of the face for buffing the foundation in, which means it's a little bit quicker as well. So just the perfect size for getting the makeup application all over the face in a good length of time. And as you can see, I'm just pressing this into the skin, I'm not swiping or rubbing. And then I'm just going to be applying whatever's left from this palette. Now, one thing though, as with all brushes, that is just not with this brush, I actually do find that when I do apply foundation with a brush, I always like to go over with a beauty sponge. So I'm going to be going in with the Morphe sponge now, and that is just to take away any brush hair strokes that may be in the foundation, and just to give the foundation a more airbrushed effect. So yeah, although that foundation brush is a favourite foundation brush of mine, I still feel the need to go over with a beauty sponge just to make sure that it looks as flawless as possible. But yeah, that brush to apply foundation is perfect. So I'm going to be going in with concealer now, and the concealer that I'm using today is the Revolution Conceal and Define Infinite Concealer, and this is in the shade C5. A little bit on the nose, nose to mouth lines, a little bit on the chin and a little bit on the forehead as well. Now, if I'm using a brush to pat in the concealer, the brush that I've been loving at the moment is the Real Technique setting brush. And this is just because I find that when I just pat the concealer into place, it gives it really full coverage using this brush. So yeah, this is the Real Technique setting brush. So all I do is just pat this concealer into place, and I'm just blending those edges, just fluffing the edges a bit further down, as you can see. But when it comes to directly under the under eye, I'm just patting this down. And when I've done this in the past, I've found that it gives me a really full coverage and not much creasing as well. And this brush is literally the perfect size for just under the eye as well. And the size of the brush as well, again, is just perfect for getting into these smile lines. It's not too big where it will spread the product over other areas of the face that you might not want it to. It literally just fits perfectly in the smile lines and perfectly on the under eye. So again, I'm just going to be going over with the Morphe Beauty Sponge. And this sponge is a favourite of mine out of all my beauty sponges. This is definitely one of my favourites. So again, I'm just going to be going underneath the under eye and just pressing. So the brush that I mostly use to set the under eye is the Real Techniques, and this is the Multitask Cheek Brush. So I use this brush for carving out underneath the contour and also setting the under eye. The baking powder that I'm going to be using is the Beauty Bakery Flour Better Not Bitter powder, and this is in the shade Oat, which is translucent. So what I like to do is just dip this brush into the translucent powder, tap it off any excess, and then I'm going to go back under again just to make sure that there are no under eye creases. And then while I'm looking up, I'm just going to be pushing this powder into the under eye, and then I always do this process twice just to make sure that the under eye is fully set and won't crease throughout the day. And the reason why I like this brush is because it's so soft, and again, it's just the perfect size to fit underneath the under eye. It's not sharp or scratchy, as in, have you ever had a brush and you put it by your eye and it's just instantly irritating? This is just so soft. So the next brush that I'm going to be going in with is the Peaches and Creams PC25 brush, and I always use a brush like this for contouring and bronzing because it is so dense and it's quite a tightly packed together brush. So that means it's just perfect for concentrating the product in one area, which obviously when you do contour, that's how you want it to be. You want it to be sort of packed into one area, whereas a big fluffy brush like this obviously would be good for just a sweep of colour, maybe a little bit of bronzer, that'd be fine. For actual contour, this brush is more appropriate because of how tightly packed together it is. So the bronzer that I'm going to be going in with is the e.l.f. bronzer, and this is in the shade Warm. And this is literally one of my favourite bronzers. It's so glowy and so dewy. It's lovely. So I'm just taking a mixture of these shades now. I'm just taking a little bit of that bronzer down the back of the cheekbone, just under the jawline as well. And again, as we can see here, the product is just focused in one area, so just under the hollows of the cheekbones. And this brush again is perfect for just fitting into the hollows of the cheekbones and just under the jawline as well. So the next brush that I'm going to be going in with is the Peaches and Creams PC03 brush. Now, as you can probably tell, due to the colour, it's so pink, I do use this brush for blush. As you can see, it's a very fluffy brush, which is a good thing when it comes to blush, because you don't want blush to be just concentrated in one area, very harsh. You want it to just be sort of swept onto the apples of the cheeks and to look as natural and as flushed as possible. So I found this brush perfect for applying blush. So for blush, I'm going to be going in with the HMB Cosmetics Dare to Be Different blush, and this is in the shade Feeling Peachy. So this is just a matte pink, and it is a very pigmented blush. So therefore, again, this brush is perfect because when you've got a product that's so pigmented, you don't want to be using a tightly compact brush which will focus it in one area. You want to be using something fluffy to like sort of disperse and lightly apply the product. So yeah, I'm going to be using this brush, and I'm taking that blush all the way back into where I've just put the contour. I'm just sweeping this across the apples of the cheek and back into almost into the hairline, and as you can see, that just gives a nice natural flush. And when I apply this, I am using a very light hand. I'm not really pressing, and I'm holding the brush as well at the very end, which makes it a little bit easier to go a bit of a lighter pressure. So far in my favourites brushes, I've actually featured 3 Peaches and Creams brushes, and can I just mention about these that they are so inexpensive and they really are such good quality. So yeah, go and check the Peaches and Creams brush range out, because I would actually really recommend them for the quality, the value, everything. But I think as well they are actually like cruelty free, so that's just another bonus. For highlight, my all-time, well, one of my all-time favourite brushes for highlight is the Fenty Beauty 120 highlight brush. Now if you look at the shape of that, it's literally perfect for just getting the top of the cheekbone. So for highlight today, I'm going to be going in with the Wet n Wild Mega Glow highlighting powder, and this is in the shade Precious Petals. And as you'll see, it just fits perfectly just on top of the cheekbone, which is the exact place where you would want to put highlighter. So look how easy that was, just in 2 sweeps. And as you can see, I'm taking it from just underneath the arch of the brow right down up to the top to the cheekbones, and even this brush just makes it so much easier. It really is just like the perfect shape, and it feels so soft on the skin, and I feel like it does evenly distribute the highlight. It just makes it so much easier to apply highlight compared to other brushes that I've used. Now another thing that I have actually used this brush for, I've actually used this in another tutorial as an eyeshadow brush, because again, even though the shape perfectly fits the tops of the cheekbones, it actually fits perfectly into like the crease of the eye. If you just stamp it on and wiggle it about, that will cover the whole eye. So if you applied eyeshadow to this, like whichever eyeshadow colour, and then just stamped it on, wiggled it about, it pretty much covers the whole eye. So yeah, I really do genuinely love this brush. So I'm going to be just highlighting the other places too. So just like bridge of the nose, tip of the nose, a little bit above the front of the brow. And again, even doing the lips, if I angle the brush like this, it just gets both lips, it gets the cupid's bow and also the centre of the bottom lip perfectly. So yeah, I would definitely recommend this brush. Now while we are on the subject of highlighting brushes, this is a Spectrum eyeshadow brush, but again I found this brush perfect for highlighting, as in I've done my highlight now, but if I wanted an extra little bit of glow, I would use this brush and would just go on top. So the second highlighter I'm going to be going in with is the Wet n Wild Mega Glow highlighting powder, and this is in the shade Blossom Glow. So this is a more pinkier shade, and I'm just taking the brush on the side, not like this, just more getting the highlighter on the side, and then I like to just go over anywhere that I think needs a little bit of extra glow, which is everywhere. So I actually don't know what the name of this brush is, but I did pick it up in a Spectrum set. So yeah, I will link it down below. If I do manage to find what the brush is actually called, then I will link it down below, so read the description bar. Now remember before I was saying how I like to use the Real Techniques multitask cheek brush to carve out underneath the contour. So I'm going to be doing that now, just by dipping in my translucent powder, tapping off any excess, and then just setting underneath the contour, just to give it that little bit of definition. Again, it's the perfect shape for just fitting underneath the contour as well. It's not too big, whereas it would cut into all your blush. It's just perfect for getting underneath the contour. And then I'm just going to be going in with the Morphe sponge, just dipping that into my powder, and then when it's coated I'm just going to take off any excess powder. I'm just going to be baking underneath the contour now. Now, the brush that I personally love to use to dust off this powder bake is the Spectrum A01 brush. So it's just a big fluffy brush, it's so soft and it's really good at just wiping off this contour bake without affecting the rest of the makeup. So I'm just going to be swirling this around, and then also just very lightly going back and forth. Yeah, I find it's just the perfect brush, as in it doesn't affect the rest of the makeup, doesn't disrupt the rest of the makeup because it's so soft. However, I do use a very light pressure as well. But yeah, it's just a perfect brush for dusting off. So last but not least, this is a brush that I don't actually know where I picked it up from, but it's quite a unique little brush. However, I do know Iconic London do brushes similar to this, and even like places like Home and Bargain, B&M, shops like that, they do brushes similar to this. So I use this brush to contour my Cupid's bow. I find it's just the perfect size to fit in between the Cupid's bow. To contour the Cupid's bow, I'm going to be going in with the MAC Cosmetics Give Me Sun Mineralized Skin Finish. It's just a nice warm toned bronzer, and look how much difference just using this brush with a little bit of contour on makes. So as you can see, this just looks so much more defined now. And again, as I was saying, this brush is just the perfect size for getting in and not spreading the product too far. So I'm just going to blend this a little bit. So yeah, look how much difference that made to making my lips look a little bit more pouty. By filling this here with a bit of contour, it makes it look there's a shadow there, so it makes the lips look full. Now that the rest of the makeup's done, I'm just going to be talking through my favourite brushes. So all together in this video then, I've featured 9 brushes and 1 beauty sponge. So there's 10 essentials that I use all the time, they're my absolute must-haves, favourites. They are products that I would genuinely recommend to anyone watching this video who wants good value and good quality. So this Peaches and Creams PC19 brush, I'd say this is my favourite brush for foundation. I think the shape as well, it's like a dome shape. I think that's perfect for applying foundation as well, when it comes to like around the nose, the chin, just under the eyes. And as I was saying before, the size of the brush makes it easier to get the foundation across the face quite quickly. So yeah, I definitely recommend that brush. It's cruelty free and it's inexpensive as well. I think this brush is £7, but I've actually had this brush for about 3 years, and it's literally, I've washed it loads of times obviously, and the hairs don't shed. It's literally almost the same as when I first got it. Apart from here, the writing wears off, so that's why I weren't sure what number brush it was, but I looked it up, it's the PC19 brush. Another Peaches and Creams brush, this is the PC25 brush. As I explained about the shape of this brush, it's so compact and it's just like a perfect block shape, which is really good for focusing product in one area. So it's good for things like contour. You could even apply foundation with this brush, and if I did apply foundation with this brush, I would probably just use it on the side rather than like that. Probably just put it at a side angle to pat in the foundation. But yeah, I definitely recommend this brush for contour. And another Peaches and Creams brush now. This is the Peaches and Creams PC03 brush. As I was explaining, it's such a soft brush and it's such a fluffy brush as well, which makes it perfect for applying blush. You could even apply highlighter with this, but it's a little bit big. It is a little bit of a bigger brush, so I find this brush personally perfect for blush. You could also do contour, a very soft contour with this, but like I said, I think the best thing to use it for is blush. So Real Techniques Multitask Cheek Brush. As you've seen, it fits perfectly under the eye when I'm setting the under eye, and perfectly just under the contour. So it's so soft as well, and again, the perfect dome shape just fits under the eye, and it doesn't actually irritate the eye, as I was explaining before. And I also found this company inexpensive as well. I think Real Techniques do brush sets for like £20, but you can get like 5 brushes or 4 brushes. And another Real Techniques brush now. So this is the Real Techniques setting brush, and as you've seen when I was applying the concealer, this brush just fits perfectly under the eye. It doesn't irritate the eye, and it really helps to give a full coverage concealer in my opinion, as opposed to using a beauty blender, well, a beauty sponge, a Morphe beauty sponge. So yeah, that's another brush I would definitely recommend. So the next brush that I would definitely recommend is the Fenty Beauty 120 highlight brush. As you've seen, it's definitely a multitasking brush in the sense that like I was able to put it over my actual eyelid, and I could have applied eyeshadow with it, which I obviously never chose to do. I just wanted this look to be focused on the skin today. But yeah, as you've seen, it fits perfectly in the crease of the eye and also just above the cheekbones. So I think the shape of it is so unique. I don't own another brush like this, and I don't think I've seen another brush like this. It is a little bit more expensive than the other brushes I've featured up to now, but it's definitely worth it. It's so unique, and it really does make applying highlights so easy. The shape is already there for you, as you've seen. The other brush I would recommend is the Spectrum AO1 brush. As I explained, it's so soft, and it really doesn't disrupt the rest of the makeup when you are dusting away any under contour bake. So it's just the perfect brush for working with loose powder in my opinion, and I feel like Spectrum is like medium range price range. Now another Spectrum brush, I personally love this brush, and like I said, I'm going to try and find out what this actual brush is called and leave it in the description down below. But yeah, I actually love this brush. It's just an eyeshadow brush, but it works perfectly for applying highlight when you really want that extra glow. This is the brush that I always go to for clients and on myself. If I'm really wanting to be like extra glowy, I'll use this brush. But if I had to choose between the two brushes I use for highlighting, I would definitely recommend this one, because I suppose with this brush you could just use any eyeshadow brush, but I do personally prefer this one. But yeah, if I did have to choose, it would definitely be the Fenty Beauty 120 highlight brush. So last but not least, as I explained before, I'm not sure what this brush is called or where I got it from, no idea, but it is the perfect size for contouring the Cupid's bow. And also I actually do use this to do some nose contour, and it's so easy to use, it's so comfy to like actually use it. So I would definitely recommend a brush like this or similar to this. Like I explained, I feel like Home and Bargain, B&M sell products similar to this, and I think Iconic London definitely make brushes like this. So yeah, if you can find one as small as this, it will make life easier when it comes to nose contour and Cupid's bow contouring, and even lip contour. Sometimes I put a little bit of bronzer just underneath the middle of my bottom lip, and this is the brush I will always use to do that, because it's just so small, it fits perfectly, and that's what you want when you're contouring. You want the product to be very concentrated. As I explained when I was talking about this brush, when we're contouring we want the product to be focused in one specific area, so this brush is perfect for that. So guys, this is the finished and completed look, and that is the tutorial done. I hope that everybody enjoyed this tutorial. I hope we learned something. Like I said in the intro, please leave me a comment down below and let me know any brush recommendations, or if you've tried these brushes, and if you do go out and purchase them, let me know if the brushes are helpful, if you like the brushes. But yeah, like I say, I'm always looking for new brands, new products to try, so leave me some suggestions down below. And before you go, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if this is the type of content that you like to see and you enjoyed this video. And please subscribe, as that would help me out loads. And also please turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any videos from me. But most of all, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next tutorial.